Alright love, so I have already gone ahead and I prime my face. Prior to applying my foundation, I do apply a primer. A primer is something that is not necessarily mandatory. It is a choice, and personally I like to use a primer on my face just because I like to have a base between my skin and any products that I put on my face. And plus, I personally feel as if primers do help with the longevity of a foundation. They help with like any oils I have, because I do have combination skin. So therefore, if I have like any oilies, I do think that the primer, depending on what type of primer I choose, it will help with that. But as far as just laying down a nice smooth foundation or a smooth base prior to my foundation, I find that it does help me. So therefore, the primer that I personally like to use is the Smashbox Photo Finish. This is a foundation primer. It is pore minimizing, as you can see, and it's oil free. Okay, so I actually really like this. This is like one of the primers that I can honestly say when I apply it to my face, I find that my foundations do act and look that much better. The foundation that I'll be wearing, it is the MAC ProlongWear Nourishing Waterproof Foundation, and I've been wearing this since May 1st. I went and got my makeup done. I'm going to take this and just squeeze some on the back of my hand, and the brush I'm going to use is the Sedona Lace 480. It's just a flat top like kabuki brush. And I'm going to pick some of this product up off my hand. Make sure your hand is clean and sanitized. And I'm just simply going to stipple this onto my face on the areas that I see fit. Now, the reason I love this foundation so much is because it is like a gel-like formula, and it just works so good on the face. I love it. It's very lightweight. It is a buildable coverage. And I really like it. I want to say I paid $32 to $38 for this foundation, and I will definitely be repurchasing. And when I put my foundation on, I pretty much rub it all over my face. Don't forget to blend it down into the neck area as well as your ears. Gone ahead and I applied my foundation, and now the next step that I do after applying it with a brush is to go in with a makeup sponge. The makeup sponge that I use is from Real Techniques. I purchased it from Ulta, and I actually use this dry on my face. The reason why I don't use it wet is because I'm not necessarily trying to apply the product. I'm just trying to continue to blend it out, if that makes any sense. So I'll take this sponge dry and I will pounce this all over my face. The reason why I do this is because I find that it will help get rid of any brush marks that maybe are left over from my foundation application with the brush. If you apply your foundation with fingers, however it is that you apply your foundation, I find to help get that flawless finish is to go in with a dry makeup sponge and just simply continue to blend it out and make sure that you have everything covered. Now, after I do this, the next step would be to set my foundation. Now, I do not go over my face all the time with a translucent powder or a color powder. What I tend to do is set my face in areas. So therefore, and you may have actually seen this in my most recent tutorial, my Easy Everyday Glam makeup tutorial. My most recent makeup tutorial is the one that I've done these steps in. So what I will do is I will take a foundation like the M.A.C Studio Fix powder. I love that. I've been using that a lot lately. I will use that in a lighter shade, and my shade is NC45. I will simply apply that under my eyes, and that will give me my lighter highlighted effect on my face, as opposed to using a lighter concealer. Sometimes I will still go in with a lighter concealer, but on a quick day, I will just take those powders and just set my face in areas. So I'll take the NC45, which is a shade lighter, apply that under my eyes, on my chin, and in the middle of my forehead. Everything else is set by my bronzer, contour, and blush, because those are all powder products. And the reason you can get away with this is because you just use a liquid or a cream on your face. So therefore, in order to set it, you're going to use a powder. So if you don't go in and use a cream blush after your foundation, but you actually use a powder blush, then that area is already getting set. So that's another way to look at it, especially if you don't want a caked up look on your face. Then a way to do that is to simply just use your blush in that area that you need it. You don't have to worry about going back and setting it, because the blush is a powder going on top of a cream or a liquid product. And because I know I get a lot of questions as opposed to how is it that when I put my products on, even though I'm using a lot, that they don't look built up and caked up on my face. And it depends on the products that I'm using. It depends on the steps, but I do like to have a more lightweight feel on my face. So therefore, even with your powder highlight, if you're using a powder highlight, same thing. You don't have to go in with anything on top of it unless you want to. Then, you know, I won't. Sometimes I'll put my contour, my blush, my bronzer and everything on, and then I might take like a translucent powder and just blend everything out on my face, just to make sure that everything's blended, there aren't any harsh lines, because just like your eyeshadow, you want to make sure your face products do not leave any harsh lines either. So those are some tips and tricks that you can use with this foundation. I highly recommend this. I feel like it would be perfect for anyone with combination skin. I think if you have oily skin, you could use this as well. Of course, you will want to make sure that your priming and your setting techniques pretty much go with your face. So learning your skin type with any foundation is definitely going to help you. But I have normal to combo skin, meaning I'm not too dry, I'm not too oily. For the most part of my face, it's pretty normal. But in my T-zone area, I do tend to get just a little bit oily. So throughout the day, I could either maybe take a powder brush with no product on it and just dab it on my face to suck up any excess oilies, or sometimes I'll just leave it there, because oils aren't always a bad thing. They actually give your skin that real look. So that's it. That's how I apply this foundation. Those are my thoughts on it. I absolutely love this. It wears so good. I have not necessarily tested the waterproof aspect of it, because I haven't gotten in a pool or anything like that, but the longevity of it and the texture of this foundation and the application is so simple and so easy and so pretty. I absolutely love it. So please leave your comments below. Let me know if you guys have tried it, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. And also don't forget to leave your application as well, how you apply it, because someone reading through the comments section might actually be able to utilize that information. As always, and until next time, have a greatest day, doll smooches. Mwah. Bye.